Okay. we we chant again and again these texts. This is really maybe these texts will turn us into a stone, maybe pebbles. Dada megi yordano aye cheno no chu no botam ji gu no yon dan ji mi ben ai sho sun zin da ba zar don la ye gu ndo cha ron ro je la ma la zo wang ur je be ma ju ne la zo wang Dadra na ve yorda thaba ye nyan dame nyan zembe janang cha tong sam no cha ri ngong wa sho cha dong jen ga me ba ja ve song cha dong ja ve song la zo an de or jen be ma ju ne la zo an de Dadra yorda jai nyamutam e doba jishai Nosa jijo lo yejo mejo Jovaran sa jave jugo jor baron rojila mala zavande Orjabe manjume la zavande Shadra zongwe yurnon taba danon banzembe samni chwata Arta wo sairamo shibaru tu zonde ye namji shimjelo Dandi rongju churvar shimjelo
Do this towards all you see, outside, inside, environment and beings, all things, while seeing them without grasping remain. This freedom from the trap of duality, subject-object clinging, is the very form of the deity, luminous and empty. To this Lama, the very self-liberation of desire and attachment, we pray. To the lotus-born Guru of Ogyen, we pray. Do this towards all that you hear, all sounds grasped as sweet or harsh, whilst hearing them empty without afterthought remain. This empty sound with no beginning and no end is the speech of the victorious ones. To this empty sound, the speech of all the Buddhas, we pray. To the lotus-born Guru of Ogyen, we pray. Do this toward all that stirs in your mind. Whatever thoughts and emotions of the five poisons arise, don't invite them, don't chase after them, don't let mind fabricate or contrive. Simply allowing them to settle in the face of their own arising is liberation into the Dharmakaya. To this Lama, Rigpa's self-liberation, we pray. To the lotus-born Guru of Ogyen, we pray. So outwardly, purify appearances of their allure. Inwardly, free the mind from grasping, and in between, by the self-recognition of clear light, may the compassion of all the Sugatas of past, present, and future inspire and bless beings like us with self-liberation.
I don't know, it's easy for you to look at, say, don't invite them, do not chase after. Do not let mind fabricate or contrive. So these usually involves with 3 times. Do not invite them means do not make plans to predict, do something that I want to do. This after that and so forth. And usually involved with future that we always plan by playing ticket first and then go somewhere and then to meet with somebody and so forth. That's a good part. And then also people sometimes do advance plans to where to die, how to die, and or after I die, I take care of my family, friends, and nation, and so forth. And then we have, after that, do not chase after them. Chase means something already disappear that we still want to chase. They say I had good memory in my childhood. I have childhood friend, and I have a good experience that I went to some monasteries that and so forth. We always chase that kind of thoughts in the past events. And then do not let mind fabricate or contrive means the moment. Moment usually, most meditations talks about the moments, momentary, with mindfulness. But here it's saying contrive or fabricate means once we conceptualize, it's already fabricated. Means that the moment consciousness or awareness, one should not think about it. So the moment we cannot focus or think about, like sometimes we do mindfulness that sort of people introduce. We need to recognize what we are doing or what we are eating or what we are talking. So everything at the moment need to live moment by moment. So here in the Dzogchen, that is also not necessary because any conceptualized thought is fabrication and contrive. That's trying to teach us in Dzogchen practice. We did all that since we are in a samsara and we are still in here, means that's not working, probably. Either we are comfortable, we are good at, or some are very talkative and some are not talkative, and some unfriendly and some rude, but still it's not working either way. So we try to uncontrive, unfabricated state, which is we are not inviting any thoughts that may have good ideas. So of course we have good ideas. Center want to expand more on this side to make larger, and then we can have more people. And then also we had good memory at old center, but we cannot bring that in here. And then the moment we are sitting here and trying to understand and practice something is also lost, not a second. So it's every moment is changing. We cannot really rely on any of them. And particular now we already went through some practice that called preliminary practice in a Dzogchen practice, but it's still a very advanced practice, and it involves not only practice. Practice is based on what we believe and what we understanding, and understanding is very important. Even we visualize these syllables and we colors and so forth. It all has meaning. It's not just letter and colors. It has that. And you can see these preliminary practice need to do ourselves until we accomplish something. And today we went through this preliminary practice. Now, according to the session, it's Tukyu practice. So Tukyu practice is most of people practice Dzogchen already know Tukyu. What does Tukyu mean? And also English is easy to say, cutting through. And seems people already know when we say cutting through, what does cutting through means, need to cut through. And that is an easy way. And another practice involving in this text, but we are not going through that practice because that has a lot of things to do with other postures and visions and other practice. We thought stable, solid practice of these texts, first Tukyu practice, we may not achieve division practice that easily. So we should have a better understanding on this. We already sort of usually when we analyze our mind, next day teacher would say, "Where is your mind?" So you would have already prepared that part of the answer, assuming that you investigate, analyze your mind, and did you find your mind? Where is the mind, and so forth. But we already have a lot of teachings and a lot of how to analyze it and how to. Some are very advanced practitioners, so it's these days a little bit difficult to say exactly what traditionally goes step by step, but that doesn't really matter if you are really interested in this practice and you really want to practice this particular Dzogchen practice. It's better to have your own self analyze and Tokchuba in the Tibetan means you gain a decisive sort of confidence that say, I understand exactly what does this mean, and this will bring us to the actual practice part. However, of course, when we talk about these texts, you can see here the unborn, sometimes the terms are matter, is free from all extremes, unborn, and Chantong, the empty sort of awareness, inexpressible, and however, it also have this quality of openness and vividness, and also beyond kind of concept. So that's what we need to find that spot of our mind to look at that part. And here also you can see that's come to an unborn, clear, open, sounded, inexpressible, non-arising awareness and emptiness beyond extremes. At that time, perform a suitable introduction to the abiding ground. So here he translates abiding ground, but in the Tibetan we have hine. Hine means shamatha. So shamatha is important because we have usually human mind is either clear or undistracted, kind of stable, peaceful mind. In order to become really clear, very sharp, clear mind, we also need very stable mind. Because if our mind is agitated, then we cannot think really deeply to the meaning. In order to single-pointedly to think about or analyze or look at the nature, we still need a very stable mind. And Drupal Rinpoche already introduced and also taught the how to stabilize our mind or how to meditate Shine practice, the calm abiding practice through these 9 stages or nine methods to how to settle our mind. And also with the shamatha with object and without object, we also talk about. Shamatha with object means you are looking at either image with an image or some sort of objects, or you are focusing on your breath and so forth, and exhaling and inhaling and so forth. Those are also another important part. But then, of course, we need to think about the shamatha, which doesn't have a focal point, means we are all those conceptual of thoughts are clear away. We need to see a sort of a pure, empty nature that doesn't have any kind of a concept and so forth. So these suppose now here, end of year, we should have some sort of confidence that our mind is not think that what we think. And if we really know this part, then we are sort of gain confidence in the reality of our mind, and then we can practice kind of in a nature state of our mind. And here the introduction to the outer appearances and prefix cutting through. So usually when we think about our mind is whether arise with objects or without objects. Yeah. So with objects means something rely on objects. So you can see here. Tibetans say, "Tini yang chit nawa karma to nawa de la semji chavam ma chap do ji tarsho." And For the introduction to the outer appearances, does the mind pervade or not pervade appearances such those that are white and red? Why we are thinking about these particular teaching that we need to think about our mind really pervade the outer phenomena or not, is we can now distinguish what is mind and what is the objects are. Because if mind pervades the objects, then we can also think how mind pervades the object. If you say that there is no appearance, the mind does not pervade, is it the substantially of the mind that pervades these appearances, or is it just that the mind merely thinks about them? It's not really exactly what we see in a Tibetan, but it's saying if mind pervades objects, then we can think about two things. The actual mind means the mind itself can pervade. Then what does that really mean? Mind itself, or mind, actual mind, means if we think about that, is our self telling us that mind. These have some echoes, I think. It's okay. So mind itself means, usually in sutras we talk about Zosem and Semjung, the primary mind, and the kind of secondary mind that we have 8 consciousness. Yeah, that seems like actual mind. But then we have these other minds that feeling and so forth. This comes with that mind. And these minds are the actual, does this pervading by the actual mind, or the kind of merely we talk about mind, but not really we treat as 8 consciousnesses and so forth. And here, understand that that isn't some substantial thing, but merely the conceptual mind that pervades such thing. Because we cannot really pinpoint our mind as substantial things, but still mind has this quality of cognizing things. We cannot really say there is no mind, but at the same time, we cannot pinpoint substantial mind. Let's pervade appearance, or just understand that it isn't some substantial thing, but merely the conceptual mind that perceives things. Thus, you realize all appearances arise experience of mind. So here we can think about almost like a mind-only school or yogacara things. Things arises from mind, but it's not really the actual mind. You should thus come to decisive understanding that all experience of things, white, red, pleasure, pain, exciting, no excite, existing, non-existing, hope, and fear, are all self-radiant, self-expression of the mind. We can talk about these a little bit, maybe. The Dzogchen point of view, we kind of know now because I have been here many times and I share my Chuingzu teachings here. Chuingzu is the translated as basic space of phenomena, but it's not that elegant as what we call the tertiary of Dharma Dhatu, what that we use. And I heard Sangjin Kando's translation just come out, and people already have it. So I'm not sure if you are not first here group, then so that's maybe either a message problem and maybe they're treating you second class. So we really don't know, but it's out there. So they already translated and published. Hopefully that clarifies some difficulties in the Chuingzu itself. So there we know all phenomena arise from this Dharma Dhatu. Yeah. How it arises? Because our Dharma Dhatu or the Dharmakaya has this a dynamism or dynamic energy that somehow stirs our wisdoms, and that little bit imbalance of this primordial ground, it appears as wisdoms and lights, and then the recognition and non-recognition occur, and then Buddhas and sentient beings emerge from there and diverge from there. So it's you can see how imbalance could happen, even this non-dual primordial ground. So here is similar. Everything, white, red, pleasure, pain, existing, non-existing, hope, and fear are the self-radiant self-expression of the mind. It's called Zal in the Tibetan. Zal means the dynamism or dynamic energy that could stir our balance, our nature become imbalanced, and it could occur appearances that we can't see now, these colors and forms and so forth. And then we have furthermore, take any single thing to look at. Now we know these appearances are not exactly the same, not exactly the mind itself, not actual mind, but it somehow arises from this dynamism of the mind, and therefore we cannot really say these things are not other than mind either. So it's mind is a powerful thing we can think about. And these, take any single thing to look at, we need to look at any single one of them to analyze. look at it nakedly and relax in that without fabricating or contriving any thoughts about past, present, and the future. We just read that lines in Guru Rinpoche's prayer, that past and present and future. So these all involves all the time in our life, because whether we are really focusing on intentionally or intentionally, we are still thinking about either in the past or present or future things. Up until we stop thinking this, either one of them, we are not stop thinking. We are just thinking. And we know thinking produces many things, good, bad, and ugly things can produce by thinking. Because thinking is kind of engine of who we are and what we are doing. Until we stop thinking, we cannot be a good practitioner. And I often share this story that, do you remember Carpenter and the Yogin? Yeah, Carpenter and yeah, exactly. Carpenter and a carpenter. There's a carpenter and a yogi friend. They are friends. Unlikely, but this world could happen to many things. And you can see some dogs, cats, and parrots are friends, and a lion and some deer fawns are become friends. So we never know. We cannot underestimate that. But strangely, these two are friends, and they went to woods, and then they passed this nice tree, and then Yogi saw the tree, and it's just tree. It's nice tree, maybe. And then Carpenter looked at the tree, and he mesmerized that. How nice, strong tree. If I can cut this, I will cut and then dry up, and then I can bring to my office, or what they call the carpenter, what they do, this where he works, the workshop, cut and make tables and chairs, and I can sell to the market, and I will make a lot of money. And so this chain of thoughts are coming without interruption. So how then we can see here what's the difference between carpenter and a yogin. Similarly here, if a person who cannot stop thinking, inviting in the future stuff, and chasing in the past events, and fabricating in the present thoughts, then we are not really reducing anything. Maybe we could do many other things, but it's deep down we are busy with our thoughts. That's why this practice, trying to stop that thinking or cutting through that thinking, once we kind of peel out this layer of thoughts or cut through, then the core of that is kind of nature is without thinking and luminous nature that we call Rigpa. So then Rigpa alone, sometimes naked Rigpa or still like alone or kind of a raw Rigpa that can reveal. Sometimes someone translates the Rigpa as here awareness, or sometimes they call intrinsic awareness, and sometimes they call primordial awareness, and whatever we call the Rigpa is non-conceptual awareness that could reveal, which means we then thinking should be stopped at that point. But this luminous and empty will appear vividly, means thinking stops, then non-conceptual awareness will arise. In order to do that, then we need to practice, and also practicing Tukyu practice. That's very important to practice. And at this time is the one that perceive forms and so forth that mind or not, or do those objects themselves apprehend our mind or not. So now we are thinking that still we have another way of look at what these are. And even we are not thinking, we cannot stop seeing things. We still can see, because our perceptions is not shut down. We can stop thinking, but we cannot stop perception. And that's why in the Dzogchen practice we meditate with open eye, yeah? Because when we close eye, means more concentrating, we're thinking something. If you open eye, thoughts are scattered. Maybe we don't need to think about it because we are not using thinking. So that's why we need to look without the eyes are closing, and think about, is the one that perceives forms and so forth the mind or not? Or do those objects themselves apprehend our mind? We can think about that when we say, do we are perceiving these flowers, or the flowers that are perceiving us? There was famous Chinese butterfly dream, yeah? That butterfly is dreaming, or Zhuangzi is dreaming butterfly. So think about that. And similarly in the Dzogchen, those flowers are perceiving us, or we are perceiving the flower. Why we are seeing that, then it's kind of become silly. Yeah? It's we thought we are kind of rational, fully grown human, educated, and but then suddenly our mind is now sort of become groundless, and now we even don't know flowers thinking us or we are thinking the flower. Because it loses our grasp what what we think. If we look really flower, I mean, I don't know, it's flowers perceiving us or we are perceiving the flower. And do identifiable shapes and colors exist within some labeling agent between these? So we think about either we are the agent to perceive things, or things that perceive us, or there is a third party that perceives something else. Not both object and subject, but maybe become between there something that maybe can perceive things. Will such label names for those objects last forever until the end of time or not? These are not that easy to understanding the reading, but it's saying we label things. We say this is object, this is subject, and this is the kind of action and verb, and to do things, see things, and so forth. But what we label these are laws, or this is kind of final thing that we can rely on or not. Because everything's changing, everything's impermanent, everything is not reliable. But how we can become reliable labels? It mainly means everything reduced to the labels. There's nothing but labels in this world. And then at the same time, the label itself is what we label. It's not really something that's reliable as a label. Thus, by looking at this one, understand that all appearances are the mind. So that's kind of general way of saying either it's not saying mind is there, but it's saying we need to understand everything is as a dream, because in a dream we only believe that we have mind, but whatever appearance dream images are not really there. So we have sort of example to make sense to us, because we have a dream that makes we can understand it in that way. You will realize that unborn mind beyond reference can transcend the world, thought, expression. When you understand that, you realize the root of all samsara and nirvana is the mind. Everything spread out from the mind. When you understand the single point alone, at the ground of reality is found within yourself, without having to look or elsewhere. This is the instruction that is called the finding the wish-fulfilling joy of the fulfilled, or wishes in the palm of your hand. So now once we know the root is our mind. When we say mind means our mind. So we think we are here, but it doesn't necessarily mean there is other people here. And maybe I by myself here, so no one really know. Talking myself could be. And that is an important part. And we have some question and answer, and then we do some meditation. Maybe. Yes, please.
So, Kempo, you just said that labels are unreliable. Why are they unreliable? And a secondary question to that, what is it that labels? So once again, why are labels unreliable, and what is it in us that labels things?
First of all, labels are, I think, unreliable because it's not universal. English we call fire, Tibet we call me, Chinese we call fall, in Sanskrit we call Agni. It's even not, if there's four people, language is to four, and they don't know other language, it even doesn't have any function of it because it's, even the communicational purpose is not meeting. And the label, we know when baby born, maybe some these days give name before baby born, but usually given names are after people born, yeah? And before that label doesn't exist. And that label then goes to change step by step, and then the function is this is my mom, this is my dad, meant to be, they would nourish children and protect and so forth. But then you can see these days there's no many functionless dads and moms and so forth. So the label is not serving what meant to be. And then label is not last, not forever. Yeah, it changes all the time.
And so I guess that which labels is our dualistic thinking, right?
Definitely, but not only that, it somehow labor tricked us to help or function in a samsara somehow. But it's not, I mean, we are deceived in samsara, so it's everything what we know and what we are doing is somehow putting us in a deeper problem. Since wrote construct whatnot. No, I forget what I want to say, but it's more like since we wrote the U.S. Constitution, then we mess up. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
So you mentioned a baby, right?
Yeah.
The baby learns different labels depending on the causes and conditions, right? So baby growing up in China will learn, let's say, Chinese labels. Baby in the West will learn Western labels. However, I mean, I don't remember what it's like to be a baby, but I assume that even before a baby learns the labels, right, in its infant state, and let's say you bring a torch, fire,
Yeah.
and you touch the baby on accident, hopefully. The baby doesn't have labels, and yet it still perceives what we call fire in the West, for in Chinese, right? But it doesn't have the labels, but it still feels the hotness of it, still perceives the brightness of it, or like the orange color, even though it doesn't have the labels for it. So I guess, what is that? It's not necessarily labels, but is that what we call perception?
That's called Perception is, I think, coming from here. The appearances, that is appearances, yeah. Yeah.
There's more questions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you blow that up? Okay, I am still a bit confused about the difference between consciousness and awareness. What is the difference between them? Is perception
Consciousness and
consciousness and awareness? And then the follow-up is, what is the difference between them? Is perception most related to which one of those? So it's the word.
yeah. Yeah, of course, that's we're trying to find out, but since until we meditate, I think that is not necessarily clear because it's similar because that's why we need to separation of this awareness and concept. And that's what we do, actual practice that's trying to reveal the actual awareness, which should not have any of concept. So the concept and awareness distinguished through the meditation, mainly need to distinguish through meditation.
So somebody asked the question, if labels are not reliable, what is reliable?
Nothing is reliable.
I think there's more
Yeah.
from before.
Yes.
People can hear.
Uh,
I don't go on Zoom.
yeah.
Please look, because then people on Zoom could hear your question.
So in the prayer that you were speaking about earlier, it says, don't, whatever thoughts and emotions of the five poisons arise, don't invite them, don't chase after them, don't let mind fabricate or contrive. Simply allow them to settle in the face of their own arising is liberation into the Dharmakaya. So my question with that is, there are sometimes, from my personal being, that sometimes I don't feel like I chase after something, but when it arises, there's such a strong fear or such a strong clutching that will happen in my heart that I'm not chasing, I don't know what to do with that because it's so visceral. Then I can't, I have a hard time releasing it and just letting it go. So what advice would you have for that?
I think here maybe we are now we are talking about here it's saying any time, any given time, one should not do this. Yeah, since what we are now talking about, your whatever emotion already arise due to whether kind of inviting past events or due to projection or plans in the future or something triggering that part, yeah, already caused. So here, this is saying before that cause arise, we need to stop. Almost like saying we need to stop, advance. of course, then already arise, also still we can intensify, but that rise due to we are, whether past or future or moment events, some triggering our mind to rise. That's already rise, but still we can same practice to do it because it's same method, but it's already rise and it's very intensified. Then it's immediately kind of reverse or even subside. It's very difficult because it's already become very strong. But still, sometimes if we can train that when anger rise, look at the not looking object or thinking about why these people or that event is hurting me or something, rather than looking at the anger itself would subside, because if you look at our mind nature, then there's no room for thought, concept, and anger. So here is more, first is a saying, whatever occurs in the mind, whether 5 poisons and so forth, we are not inviting in the past even, and not inviting. Yeah, inviting in a future event, which means thinking that, even not thinking about the antidote of how I can make these subside. And the past is not really follow that, and also not analyzing it. Analyzing is also another thing. It's difficult. Yeah.
Next question. Do I visualize the syllables inside the body or on the surface? Is it the same with the Om Ahong and the 6 syllables? For example, are A and Su in the same spot?
Usually, when we visualize deity or any visualization, our body is not substantial anymore. It's a kind of hollow and a kind of transparent. Usually, it's not really syllables are visualizing outside the body. But inside, it doesn't necessarily mean there's not almost like in and out yet. That's the idea of our body, how to visualize. All the substance are gone, but we have kind of structure that shape of the body with transparent. Loosen body, and then we can visualize that at the same place. But it doesn't need really crowded with Om and I and Su and Hong and Niri. So you can. This one is naturally born. Not polluted, unpure seed. One is pure seed, so pure seed need to emit lights to unpure seeds to burn, yeah? So these two are a little bit different, but not outside, but inside, yeah.
Just reading the question.
Okay.
Isn't Rigpa recognizing Rigpa the only reliability?
Yes. Sometimes they say never, so that's why nothing can reliable, but yeah, that part we can label that way, yeah.
The Om Ahum and the 6 syllables,
Yeah.
are they all facing to the front? The possession of the syllables, are they facing this way?
Yeah. Facing this way is fine, yeah. Okay, then we can chant Om Ahom and see what we can do. That's good questions, yeah. Just need to know. Okay, do you remember Vajra posture? And at the same time, if you have good technology that can count for you, then it's wonderful. If not, don't count in the mind that it lose your focus. Maybe it's, how many is not that important. We need to do until something happened. Yeah. Again, same thing, and the two of swords should be joined together if you can. It represents something. Om 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 when you practice these, you also can visualize these three prana, Vajra, your body with fire. And this, say, protects your harms from outside, all kind of illnesses and other obscurations. And then Hong is a very powerful mantra that clear up your body. And Ngakchen Rinpoche often introduce just chanting Hong whenever you have any problem with the blue Hong. And that is also another practice you can do. So Oma Hong is you can think about body, speech, and mind, or Dharmakaya, Sambodhakaya, Nirmanakaya. But Hong itself has these five components in here, 5 parts. It also represents 5 family Buddha. You can see this top circle, and then we have this half moon. So these are usually called sun and the moon. And then we have this line on the top, horizontal line, which is called head in the Tibetan letterhead. And then this part is called Ha, that is the main body of the Ha. Now we have 4. And then this lower part, there's 2. This is called A. And then this is called Shamchu, mainly means U. U with long U, Hong, yeah. And so these are 5 family Buddha. And maybe tomorrow we can talk about that more. But I'm just saying, if you would like to practice more Om Ahong or Hong, usually people practice Om itself also has similar impact because you can see people chant Om. Until the very last, don't close your mouth because that makes also clear your air and so forth. Comes to Hong, we can see Hong is coming from here. If you don't feel belly, means you are not chanting correctly. Hong, it vibrates your whole body. It's very powerful. You visualize blue Hong anywhere you want in your body part, and this is particularly Jigten Sumgung's teaching that if you have illnesses and so forth, you can practice Hong practice. So don't close your mouth, and because Hong is not end with a Ma, and Ma need to close, but Hong is not. Hong is Nga. Nga is open. Hong. in the Jew practice, we have a pet here, pet. Pet and home sometimes used as interrupt anything concept. And in the Jew practice, we sometimes use sort of long and slow pace. Pet kind of, not just sometimes pet, but we can say pet you made you, so it's not just very it's Anila no more than me, so but my pet in Hong is you can use a Hong in the same way. Pet and Hong, these are powerful. You can use strong and short, and also long and gentle practice. Because when you want to visualize and focusing on something, and need to say slowly, yeah? But then you can come slowly. Similarly, Hong, Urjin, Yurji, Nom Yon Sam, and so forth, you can chant Hong and Pet. And those are very important practice, and doesn't need complicated make torma offerings and musical instruments, and sometimes we have difficult because it's not easy to learn everything in a short amount of time. Meanwhile, you can practice that part. So now, what we can do here is maybe we meditate first without, we try to stop our thoughts. Then we will have a method to stop our thoughts. Just quietly and trying to settle or sit. To trying to reduce our thoughts. Most shamatas, we already learned that if thoughts focusing on something, if that focal point is changed, needs to bring back to the original focal point. So that is the very first 2 steps you can do, yeah. Maybe when we meditate, better to chant something before meditation. I think this is good, yeah. On page 5, we have this Jamdranjitame. Maybe Anila can just Jamdranjitame. Only here. Jamdranji Tome Zamlenjen Tabe Danson Mayon Laja Tsume Jawa Dorjen Jan Panjiten Gombo Javla Ndu Tu da do sam ju ju le me shin ji lo jin tu ji jin ning ge mun ba san ni jang sem ru da to do ba shin ji lo. English.
Unequaled refuge, ornament of the world, your fame pervades the 3,000 worlds. You are the victor, Vajradhara, without a doubt. I bow at the feet of the Father, Chetan Sungan. Continually I think of no one but you. Compassionate One, grant your blessings. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I may realize the unelaborated nature of mine.
Yeah, the unelaborated nature of mind. So we need to realize that. Yeah, so that part is very important to stop thinking. You can do close or open eye, doesn't matter. Here is, I want to just show the contrast, what with the method and what without the method of meditation in here. Okay, that's ultimately we need to realize the unelaborated nature of mind. So that is our whole goal of practice. In order to get there, the best methods, of course, involve with devotion, but top of that, then we call method the Mahamudra or Dzogchen. And this involves, you can see, if you try to stop thinking, it's almost multiply kind of thinking. It's thinking is an interesting thing that it intensifies if you try to stop thinking. So it's better to have method to stop it, and in order to do that, we often chant because that involves with a lot of lineage prayers, and also we need to get a lot of blessings and so forth. And at the same time, chanting like this Guru Rinpoche's just verses that to give us the meaning and how we should relax in a natural way and settle in a natural way. Even we see things, we are not engaging the form. If we hear things, we are not engaging the sounds. If we arise any emotional thinkings in our mind, and we are not fabricating things. And in that way, somehow, it liberates itself. It's not. As soon as we try to find more antidotes, it always have resistance. And that resistance makes a force. Once we have put more force, and then a balance it shifts, and then our mind is almost wobbling all the time. It's not stable. And here, we need to know how to look outwardly and how to look inwardly, physically. Sometimes we can just try to see an object, any objects in front of you, open eye. Can you change your focal point? The mind that looking this camera to looking back at your head, back of your head. Switch back and forth. Maybe stop playing money well. It doesn't. This interrupt your mind. Yeah, that's good. Not hearing. Exercise. Focus back, focus inwardly, focus outwardly. How you can tell what your mind is focusing, either projecting something or kind of retrieving from that. Yeah. So we need to know that even physical level, how to look forward and backward. Here it's interesting that Gachin Rinpoche told me that when you look inwardly, you can see more area, almost open up. If you look outwardly, because your focus narrows down on some objects and it narrows down. This is, I think, a very, very important part of that. You know how to project outwardly and also retrieve inwardly or project inwardly. If we don't know that, then it's sometimes our meditations become sort of thinking what's going on, and thinking is sort of planning and a concept that doesn't go anywhere. So here, of course, now we all know we have this mind nature, Buddha nature. That not only talks about in the tantras, but the sutras we have Buddha nature. Yeah? Simchen, our mind's nature is Buddha nature. And that is sort of stainless mind nature and unupgraded mind, which means we have that. We need to reveal that to remove all the obstacles. In order to do that, we need to see our mind nature. Once we see our mind nature, then any obscurations would not stay in that moment. However, we have really difficult to understand that even we stop a moment or second or very short moment, we may not recognize that well, but that doesn't influence whole day, but it's already changing in ourselves. And now, so our meditation is, now we already learned that we are not thinking, we are not either thinking or thinking of stop thinking. Soon as we try to thinking stop, then it doesn't work. So here we need to stop everything. It's called Chawa Kutuk in Tibetan, means we need to give up 9 activities. The virtuous activities of visualization, and I mean, mentally, we are visualization, it's called good things. And bad things, we don't need example that part. And then the social part is almost 99% of our life is that. So we don't need that. So these 3, and then verbally we can say good things or recite a mantra, that's good thing. And our mouth is quite interesting tool that can hurt others feeling, and that's a bad thing. And then sometimes people even talk in the dreams, so that's not surprising. And then we have bodily, we can do prostrations and meditations and everything, good thing. And then physically we harm others, and most of the time we can just walk around and doing kind of non-essential things and so forth. So stop all these, the ones, and they call your body should be like a crop in cemeteries because you're dead already. And then speech is like a guitar, broken string guitar, doesn't make any sound anymore. And then mind need to be a pure autumn space or sky, means no cloud, no obscurations, no thoughts, and so forth. So we don't need to think this moment. Just look, we try to exercise looking outwardly, looking inwardly, outwardly, inwardly. Mainly look here, back side of your head. You don't need to see your back side of your head, but it's just look at. That's Trukурjen Rinpoche's method of teaching of Dzogchen, looking at your Rigpa. Here, you don't need to try to see something. It's there already. If you, soon as you focus inwardly, it's there already. And this time, better to open your eyes and mouth a little bit, because the air flows gently when you open your mouth. It's only through nostrils there is a little bit difficulties. A little bit. Open your mouth. A little bit. Yeah. Just look. This doesn't work well that way anyway. Usually, often use this because it doesn't last more than this. If we can extend meditation through repetition, but we just cannot extend meditation like shamatha and other visualization and so forth. We need a lot of repetitions, so maybe it's so this repetition, whenever you look back, and you cannot look back all very long either, physically. And as soon as you focus kind of outwardly, you need to draw back to focus inwardly. And this repetition will extend your meditation, and now you see how this practice is done without engaging any forms or sounds or even emotions that arise in our self. And that's why this chanting is so profound. That mainly everything is in these few lines. And maybe now, these lines make more sense to us again. We can maybe chant again and again that core practice. Practices involve, when you look at your mind nature, I think you should not become sort of empty, lonely practice, as you should have filled with devotion and love and some sort of realization. When you look at, as soon as you look at, you would have remember your Guru and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and so forth. Once you remember that, then compassion will flow, and then the bodhicitta will rise, because these particular practices so profound and so fortunate that what I have through my teacher, and then you have that kind of understanding attitude, then you already have compassion, because most of sentient beings, they don't have chance to practice this and understanding of this and so forth. So once you look at your mind, usually devotion and compassion arise naturally. If not, then you need to somehow fix that part, whatever way can do it. Yeah. So these chantings are supposedly help us. That's why chanting is important. Whenever you practice, meditate, you should have some lineage prayers and your guru prayers, and then some sort of profound verses that you are familiar with, and all these verses that give us kind of instruction that how to take care when it happens, and so forth. Maybe we read again, yeah? Maybe now you have more understanding and more sense of that, because after the meditation, then everything is not that tangible, that we don't need to fix anything, just we need to be there, we need to settle, and we need to settle in there. The Dharma ge yorda no ye chino no ju ngopo dam ji gun no yong dam ji me bing on la sho sun zin da ba zar dong la ye gun du ja rong dur je la ma la zor wan de ver jen pe man jun Dadranawe yordo chabaye nyen tame nyen zembe janam gun chadong sam no chawe ngolai sho chadong jenga me ba jarwe son chadong jarwe son la zorwande urjembe man yone la zorwande Dadarayi yordan jivayi nyomu tongi toba jishaya Musa jeju loyi jumeso javaran saja bijukur Baran durjela mala zavande urjebe man yunila zavande Chedar son we non tabata no daran zembe semni jwada Parda zaramo jibara tu son de je nam je doji Dan de rendu traversingilo
outside. I'm sorry. Do this towards all you see, outside, inside, environment and beings, all things, while seeing them without grasping remain. This freedom from the trap of duality, subject-object clinging, is the very form of the deity, luminous and empty. To this Lama, the very self-liberation of desire and attachment, we pray. To the lotus-born Guru of Organ, we pray. Do this towards all that you hear, all sounds grasped as sweet or harsh, whilst hearing them, empty without afterthought remain. This empty sound, with no beginning and no end, is the speech of the victorious ones. To this empty sound, the speech of all the Buddhas, we pray. To the lotus-born Guru of Organ, we pray. Do this towards all that stirs in the mind. Whatever thoughts and emotions of the 5 poisons arise, don't invite them, don't chase after them, don't let mind fabricate or contrive. Simply allowing them to settle in the face of their own arising is liberation into the Dharmakaya. To this Lama, Rigpa's self-liberation, we pray. To the lotus-born Guru of Organ, we pray. So outwardly, purify appearances of their allure. Inwardly, free the mind from grasping. And in between, by the self-recognition of clear light, may the compassion of all the Sugatas of past, present, and future inspire and bless beings like us with self-liberation.
So this is important chanting. If everyone should have some sort of this kind of chanting. If not, you don't have already, maybe this is one that helps you. And today we already went through many teachings in here and many levels. Maybe we today not going any further in a text, but you now know that if you are still think, my mind is still maybe somewhere in our system that I still couldn't figure out. Mind is there, but it's not exactly what says in a text. So I wanted to more explore my mind, then please do more. Today, sometimes people are good at when they lie down and then thinking, and in the good old days, when Cultural Revolution come and when these communist ideologies mocking others, they give overnight to think. They say, think about it over and kind of rolling here and there to think more about it. So seems overnight is good time to think about what we learn and how much we can gain more from here. So the tools are here now already, so we can do that. And before that, any suggestions and any questions we can still have a few more.
Yeah, there's some.
To do. Okay. And then these 2 days we can refine our practice and we really nail down our practice. Okay?
So from Soon, is the instruction to look at the back of your head mentioned anywhere in a text of some kind?
I don't think so. But that's oral teaching, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. though it's very important how to look at it's very seems very important. Yeah.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Yeah.
For the Ryushin practice, the visualization,
Yes.
can we focus on individual seed syllables to try to gain stability and clarity, or should we try to visualize all of them at once?
I think that first we need to visualize. If we don't remember exactly, maybe we just read Yishe Lama passage that to first at least visualize all, and then the lights are emitting from the white R, white Om, red R, and blue Hong to disintegrating the white R here. But then I think that we don't need to focusing on at least that moment other syllables. But the beginning we can visualize the whole kind of structure of the body with these 6 places with 6 syllables, and that's important. That's the beginning visualization. I think Nicole is. No, oh, okay, yeah.
I have a question, but it's going to be really difficult for me to get it out. So just bear with me.
No.
It really relates to what I was asking before. So, okay, when I meditate, especially in the completion stage, right, when we dissolve everything into emptiness, I'm able for a short time to remain in this non-conceptual state that doesn't label, right? But then, I'll hear a bird or a car driving by.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this clear recognition, like, this is a bird. I might not necessarily label it bird, but it's this knowing. Bird sound, car sound.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, but that is how this text is trying to reduce our thoughts. What benefit of knowing a bird?
Well, I don't think there's much benefit. What I struggle with is, it actually is a bird, right?
Yeah, but that what benefit of knowing bird? That.
Once again, it's difficult to say because on one hand there is no benefit. In fact, you could say it's a bit distracting to the meditation, right?
Does distraction is coming from inside or outside? The bird distracts you, or you think bird distracting?
Okay, well, it appears that the distraction comes from the outside, but upon further analysis, obviously it comes from the inside.
Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to, these labels and signs and appearances and whatever appears, here these lines are saying even beautiful forms or sounds or neutral or even just like forms and sounds comes, if you disengage, they have no function for it. That we know because even the flowers, some people think flowers are very beautiful. Some people think flowers are just flowers. It's not necessarily beautiful. Beautiful and pleasant sounds is personal preferences. It's not in there. Some people like roses. Some people like lily flowers. Some people like other flowers. Some people almost hate rose and so forth. It's really difficult to tell anything on objects, but it's more preferences of a person.
Okay, then am I correct in understanding that to label, let's say, the red rose more pretty than the white rose, that it's the same as literally just labeling a rose a rose? It's the same type of phenomena. It's the same type of mind phenomena.
Yeah.
Just even labeling this is a rose is just like labeling good rose, bad rose.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So all the labels are coming from here, but of course we have culture bias. That's why it's called sometimes nature, but sometimes more nurture than nature. And yeah, sometimes flowers are very sort of deceiving. One time I was in a Garchen Rinpoche Center, that was a long time ago. I think 2004 or something. I was teaching Bodhichaya Avatar. They make a lot of flowers in front of my seat. And entire teaching, few days, I thought this must be plastic fake flower. Until it's slowly kind of dying. So then I noticed that is not plastic, but yeah, it's interesting that the human mind is just make up things, and the Dzogchen, these particular teaching and meditation, we are biased all the time, yeah. 12 that we discriminate 24 hours, and then we have preferences, and then we make choices based on that, and that's why we are caught in. We almost now we don't have choice, and the life is caught in this nature and culture, in a realm of this, or web of this concept. So here, I think one thing we learn in the Dharma, that is, everyone know, need to be a good person, need to fit in a culture, and so that value is not talking about in here. That everyone can do it, but we don't want to caught in at that. But we don't need to be a rude or unruly guy. But that is not that important part here. We don't want to lose that. That's why we have fear. If we lose our good part, then what our bad part would do. But we would not do that because that's not the concern about it.
We have more questions on Zoom.
What they say.
I'm just going to read it as it's written. Without counting the Om Ahom repetitions, due to hands being busy, what signs or qualities should I look for to know when I should move on to the next syllable?
Mm-hmm. Usually all these Dzogchen preliminary practice that would have signs, but we are not really, if we are focusing on signs, maybe we don't do well preliminary practice, but there is a few stories that interesting. These Hongjiangs, the Hong exercise, and sometimes you Hong shoot like arrow to destroy the mountains and kind of piercing walls and piercing your bodies and so forth. And one Lama was practicing that, and the neighbor's water tank was leaking all over. And then others saying, "What's going on? There's too many holes on our water tank." And then there was a Lama say, "Well, must be that this other Lama is practicing this Hong exercise. It must be that why your water tank is leaking." So that kind of could happen. Even it says feels your body is very light and feels like there's no really substance or blood in the bones and those things, but could happen. Yeah, that kind of happened. And then the actual Rushen purpose of Rushen practice is you would have some revulsion of samsara because that is separation of the samsara and nirvana, not necessarily kind of strive to achieve nirvana, but it's know that samsara has no meaning if we would gain that kind of practice. Bodily, you would have, sometimes they say they would not have illnesses and so forth, and but light and so other good qualities that could happen. Yeah.
One more question from Zoom.
Yeah, that's good.
Hello, Kempo. You mentioned that the Om Ahum burns the 6 syllables from top to bottom. Instead, starting from the bottom, goes up. Why is that? Is there a particular reason for this?
Well, there's not really fixed that set. I think some text goes from up to down, and some text goes bottom to up. So that's not necessarily fixed practice. If you wanted to purify heavy part, then do your 2 souls with 2 smoke color 2, which represents the hell realm and also has nature of hatred part, and yeah, that's also a good thing. Yeah.
I guess I have one more question.
Yeah, 2
but
more minutes.
Very quick one.
Yeah.
If somebody has difficult time visualizing all the syllables at the same time,
Yeah.
is it okay when you recite Om to just look at the Om or just visualize the Om? When you recite the Ah, then see the Ah and forget about the Om at that point, and then Hum, forget the Om and the Ah and just see the Hum? Is that okay? Or really force yourself and try to see all 3?
Yeah, that's why I chant slowly, because Om, Om, so you have time to transitional time. If not, Om, 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 then it's become very fast, and maybe we don't have clear visualization. Yeah. So today we stop here. We chant our dedication, and then of course there's always have tomorrow. And I'm not sure you are busy, maybe, but even you are busy, think about this practice. May one day you have time to relax and do practice that may be good practice for you. Do you read in English or?
But
Yeah. And also, thank you, people online. I don't see, but you all are very graciously join us, and in the future maybe see in person.
So let's just do in English, page 16 and 17.
Okay.
By the virtues collected in the three times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I in all beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Jikumpa Aratnashri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind root and lineage lamas, divine assembly of Idams and assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Yogins, Yoginis, and Dakinis dwelling in the 10 directions, please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected in the three times by myself and all sentient beings in samsara and nirvana, and the innate root of virtue, not result in the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Shravaka or Pratyeka Buddha. May all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading Maras, and the hordes of demons, experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind as such, and the pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in a bardo.
Okay. If you have time, read the text and let me know tomorrow if we can discuss more on the text. Okay, good night. Thank you. Okay. Good night.